So you might have seen these blue, shiny pinwheels throughout Boise and the Treasure Valley. These are the pinwheels that represent Child Abuse Prevention Month. They represent our kids, and they line the streets up right here off Main Street, right in front of Faces of Hope. It's a light of hope for people going through tragedy, domestically or with child abuse. It's one place that you go to handle all of your needs instead of having to go throughout and constantly tell your story over and over again. I wanted to give you a tour so you can see what it's all about. I made it.
You made it.
Executive Director of Faces.
Thanks for coming.
Well, my knees are working on my squats.
How's that going?
It's going pretty good, but you know, it's interesting because of what we're going to be. Every time we sit in a seat, we'll be raising $1, right? It's just like selling out the stadium. So I wanted to give everybody a tour of Faces, but what's interesting is we talked about this lock. When you walk in, it locks behind you and it locks here. And I remember talking and Safe Place came up several times. So tell me about that, because it's actually something that you might not notice. It might annoy you in other places you go in a building, but this is important here.
Yeah, that click of the door is what can give people the peace of mind to be here, because we don't allow offenders on site. And if you've been looking over your shoulder, even trying to get here, that's pretty scary. But when you come here, this is a safe space. We want you to feel safe when you're here.
Okay, so this is my favorite. As we rise up against child abuse, and we're raising all this money for sitting in these seats, there's different pieces of Faces that I love, and one is Hope's Closet. So I'd love to go in and show everybody what it's about.
So Keke, this is my favorite room. As you know, this is Hope's Closet.
Oh, wow.
Everything in this closet has tags. It's all brand new. There's nothing used. It's not like a thrift store. Everything has tags. We have men's clothes, women's clothes, and then we actually have children's clothes over in our care side.
Right.
So our goal was to kind of make this look like a boutique, because so many of our clients have not been shopping for new clothes for a long time. That's part of the power and control.
So what do you mean when you say that they haven't been shopping? Because somebody's coming in here and people want to know about Faces, and this is one that catches my attention. What do you mean they don't have?
So when you talk about the dynamic of abuse, there's somebody who's always in charge, and then there's the subservient one. The one in charge is telling that person what they can wear, how they can spend their money, who they can be out with. So a lot of our clients, a lot of our victims have not been to a store in a long, long time. We had a gal who was like, I haven't been shopping in 9 years. She actually tipped down her pants and showed us that her underwear was hanging by a thread. She's like, I don't even know why I wear these. It's just to give me a little bit of dignity. I haven't had a new pair of underwear in over 9 years. And so when she was here, she kept saying, I don't want to take anything from anybody else. I just want a fresh pair of underwear. So when we give her a brand new package of underwear, she just started to cry. And it was the first new thing she'd had in 9 years. So to come in this closet and to see tags on clothes and lots of different colors and sizes and styles, this is kind of an exciting experience for the people who can come here.
They're the things we don't think about. And we've talked about this before. If there's a mom that's leaving in the middle of the night, you're not packing up and you're not, hey kids, get your toys and we're leaving.
Right, because that could be life or death for
Right.
mom and kids. They are literally running. And we've had people, they even have defense wounds on their arms because they're, running from a knife or from punches, and they come here with just the clothes on their back. So we give them clothes, we put them in a hotel, we keep them safe. This might be the first night of restful sleep with new clothes, pajamas, whatever they need. Or it's somebody who says, I haven't had a job in 5 years. Now I'm leaving my abuser, I need a work outfit. So it's coming in the closet and getting a new dress or getting a fresh pair of shoes or something. It brings back a lot of dignity. A lot of people look in this mirror and they are just full of tears because this is a new start for them, a fresh start.
So right now we're at the Faces of Hope community room. And there's a lot of stuff happening here and you can see it all over the walls. But what's exciting about just Faces of Hope in general is Margot's here. She is an attorney and also an advocate. And so we were talking earlier, one thing you might not already know is that when you come into Faces of Hope, you're coming in duress. It's a tragic situation. You are lost, you don't know what's going on. People have told you this abuser has told you this stuff. That's where Margot comes into play. You might not have known that. I wanted to introduce you. So am I close?
Yeah, so a lot of times people don't know what they don't know. And so they come in with legal questions. It could be about divorce, custody, civil protection orders, what's going on in a criminal case. We help destigmatize and demystify the court proceedings, help them access forms so they can access the court system themselves if they can't hire an attorney, help them just get acquainted with what their rights really are, so they're not relying on their abuser to tell them, no, you don't have any rights, they're my rights.
What I love about this is that we have the internet. And we have friends who have been in bad situations. There's so much misinformation out there.
Yes.
It's good to walk in to Faces of Hope, looking for hope, and to know down the hall there's this different place. You don't have to go and call somebody else and get a consultation. And I guess that's enough to push people away.
Yeah.
And this is just all about what Faces of Hope is. And so I like the fact that you offer that, and people don't know where to turn when they come to you because they probably have been told so many different things.
Yeah, and we do offer that kind of initial consultation. All of our services are provided free of charge, regardless of income, which I think is really important because we are the only pro bono legal resources that I know of in the Treasure Valley area that are not income contingent.
Wow.
So, you know, a lot of times people can't access their funds, and even if they don't qualify because their income is too high, they're being financially abused and they don't have access to the funds, so they're further hindered from accessing their legal care.
And abuse and domestic violence doesn't have a pay grade.
Right.
You know, doesn't care. It attacks everybody.
I've serviced people who make nothing to people who have doctorates. They're lawyers, doctors. I've helped people in all sorts of different circumstances. We meet you where you are, trying to destigmatize that abuse because it happens at every level of our society, unfortunately.
So Keke, we've shown you a lot of the areas in our building, but the one thing that I think is so cool is that we have doctors and nurses from St. Luke's and from St. Al's that are here to help with our forensic exams. So this room right here is where we do our forensic exams for adults, but we have rooms down this entire hallway for children as well. And as we talk about child abuse, we have expert doctors and nurses who are going into the courtroom, and they are the experts testifying and helping these kids. Every room, every exam room has artwork around here. Because you're coming and you've been dealing with trauma, you've been dealing with abuse, the artwork helps so that anybody who's getting an exam doesn't trigger. And so the nurses and the doctors are having them focus on what they're looking at for the artwork so that they can collect the evidence.
So this, what we mentioned earlier, it's a safe place.
It's a safe place.
Safe place, yeah.
And so while people are coming here, they're avoiding the emergency room. They're avoiding the hustle and bustle of a hospital, but we have doctors and nurses from St. Luke's and St. Al's taking care of our people right here. Through one door, you're getting all of these services at no cost.
So I love all the reminders, constant reminders of what Faces is about by the walls. And for instance, this masterpiece. So can you tell me more about hope as being able to see that there is light despite all of this darkness?
Artwork plays a huge role here at Faces. You're gonna see it on all of our walls. I love the paintings though that we have on this side because they're inspired by high school students from the Idaho Fine Arts Academy. They actually were able to get some quotes, and then they got to use their imagination as to kind of what artwork could be inspired by these words.
I love it because when you're walking down the halls at Faces, you're seeing it at every place. Almost as you're walking through the halls when this is over, you know, you're coming into work every single day. It's a reminder to you of why we're here, right?
You know, as you see the paintings, there was one girl who came through our center and said, was inspired by the paintings and asked if she too could bring a painting. And she had a quote from the Scarlet Letter that meant a lot to her, and she asked if she could put a painting up on our walls. She had been a victim of child abuse and wanted to give back. A lot of people who are victims of abuse, they want to find some way to give back, and this was her way to help the center and to give back. Desmond Tutu's quote about hope has inspired our gala, has inspired a lot of the quotes that you'll see around here, because hope is greater than fear. And so when people come to Faces, our goal is to make sure that they leave with some hope and with some dignity.